That blinking light means you didn't hear any of that. So, to recap, I, Burlington Showtime, the finest showman, but worst user of technology that ever there was, is going to show you the best time you've ever had. Let me tell you, friends, listeners near and far, there is no greater showman in the world, and Burlington Showtime is about to show you the best second half of whatever the heck this has become that you've ever seen. Are you ready for this? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. But I'm going to make you do it anyway. We're all in this together. Burlington Showtime, the face of comfort, will be with you all along. Because I have pulled out all the stops. I've called in some of the finest performers, and I'm definitely not vamping for time. Ah, here it is. Ha 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 ha. He finally got back to me. All right. Professor Turgid Pianist, my old friend. It's finally time for you to pay off that favor that you owe me. Here we go, Professor Pianist.
Hey everybody, this is Professor Pianist. I was supposed to submit a video for Burlington Show tonight, but I don't really want to do that. So instead, I'm just gonna send him an email, let him know that I can't. Got a new computer, so I'm just gonna turn it on. Seems right. Okay. Gotta get an email ready to send here. Alright, yep, this will do. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a new computer, so I don't quite know how all the buttons work. And, sorry, I'm wearing this stuff right here. Heat isn't on in whoever's house this is. Alright, so I'm opening up the email program right now. There we go. Subject. Oh, hold on, it's not in the right. To Okay. Burlington Showtime. Enter. Nope. Okay, spacebar. Nope. Let's do this. There we go. I can't make a video for your show tonight because I am sick of you. Best wishes, Professor Turgid Pianist. Send. Sorry, it's sending. Okay, here we go. All right, so here I'm sending my email right now, Burlington. Okay, hope you get that. Bye-bye.
That was not at all what I hoped. But I hope it was entertaining. That's right, because we're here to do a show. It's a show now, and I'm Burlington Showtime. So, as they say in the theater, when things go awry, it's the producer's fault. And we've just got a new junior grade producer, the perfect person to foist this off on. That little jerk, let's just see. Ooh, they've given me all sorts of buttons now. There we go. There's his name. Jack Kane, that little whippersnapper. Let's just see what he's got to say for himself. And...
Hi, you've reached the voicemail of Jack Kane. At the beep, leave a message or hang up. The choice is yours. Say, while I have you on the horn, how's about I run some ideas by you? You can leave your feedback in the message. So hear me out. I had some ideas for breaking into the wide world of literature by rewriting some old children's books. I decided for my first venture to tackle the work of Dr. Seuss, Ph.D., and rework some classics for a more modern audience. Some of the rewrites include Redfish, Bluefish, and a bunch of other neato stuff I saw at the aquarium. And Horton heard me get someone's name wrong at a party several times and said nothing. But of course, my personal favorite is, "Take a damn hint, Sam I Am, I don't want your discolored breakfast food." Go ahead and chew on that for a spell and let me know what you think. If somehow I don't make it as an author, I also have some really nifty ideas for some Netflix series. For fans of heart-pounding suspenseful documentaries, I have Disappeared in Plain Sight, Peekaboo Through the Eyes of a Baby, and I'm Head Over Heels, a look into the contortionist dating scene. For folk with more of a musical taste, I also have a selection of musicals, such as Sweeney Toddler, Les Miserables 2, Miserables Loves Company, and the movie where the train comes at the screen from like the 1920s and everyone freaked out and ducked because no one knew what a movie was, the musical. Well, let me know what you think in your message, and oh, if this is Unky Oliver calling again, I said I was sorry about the suit dog private jet incident, but I'm sure if you call the Prime Minister, he'd be happy to forgive and forget. Any hoodles, I look forward to listening attentively to your message.
Message inbox full of unlistened messages.
Well, Jack, this is why your talent drinks. You know what? We can still do this. Once again, Burlington Showtime is not afraid to ask for help, and it says right here that I can get some help. Let's see. Ask computer. All right, well, if I'm in a live stream, I should just ask the computer what to do with a live stream, right? That should do it, I should think. So, computer, how do you live stream?
And that, my friends, is how you play Queen's classic opus, the Bohemian Rhapsody, on the didgeridoo Burlington Showtime.
Gah! Executive producer Oliver Kane!
Please. On the internets, I'm known as EP Ollie K, and then I make a fun little air horn sound. Why is your confused expression splayed across my Twitch feed?
I have no idea. I pushed this button and suddenly...
Never mind. I found the little dash thingy button that removes your physical form from my line of sight. But I can still hear you, as can no doubt my followers, so I must ask you to remain as silent as possible for my next lesson.
Lesson?
Indeed, old friend, for you have stumbled onto the first annual EP Ollie K Wah 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 live stream production expo, wherein I, your faithful executive producer Ollie K Wah 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 demonstrate to you, the terrified masses, how to successfully produce a variety of live streaming entertainments.
Oh dear.
Silence! But don't disconnect. I'm only 7 followers away from a Cracker Barrel gift card. Now, my captive audience, you've heard how Hollywood recently strangled the movie musical in its sleep with that odorous debacle, Cats. Well, I say that anything Spielberg can do, we can do better. And thus, behold, you've heard of Cats the Musical. I present to you Cats in Musicals.
Oh my god.
Shh! What did I say about the flapping of guns, Burlington? You've gone and upset him.
Sorry, I just didn't expect such elaborate costuming. I'm almost sorry I can't share what I'm seeing with whoever's listening to this later.
Having crocheted these dresses myself, I shall take that as a compliment. We begin with a classic scene from the classic Broadway classic Hello, Dolly, featuring Snowball here as Mr. Vandergelder and our own Whisker Sour in the role of Carol Channing. Scene: a fanciful restaurant/speakeasy with an unprecedented number of dancing waiters, classically trained, of course, and more stairs than is probably necessary. And a 1, and a 2, and... Whisker Sour, you are the opener. Nonsense. We rehearsed this plenty. Now dance. They're supposed to be tights. That's why they're called tights. Don't you take that tone with me, you ignorant. You stop.
Oh, dear. Oh.
I regret to inform you, friends, that contract negotiations with Madam Whisker Sour have soured. But let us not allow such trivialities to spoil our amusements. Next, we shall explore the time-honored live streaming tradition of performing a mundane task whilst narrating it in extreme detail. Yes, you heard right. It's time for your buddy friend pal E.P. Ollie wah 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 wah, to perform his very first unboxing. Today we are looking at this box of Park City Kodiak Cakes Flapjack and Waffle Mix. As you can see from this gorgeous display, we are exploring the Buttermilk Edition, crafted with 100% whole grains, and it appears only water is required to bring this delightful mix to an acceptable level of fluffiness. Now, let us tear open the proverbial pull string here. There we go. Oh! And what's this? It appears the entirety of this box's contents lie in a single, easy-to-open plastic bag. Well, there you have it, gentles all. A most successful unboxing, I would say. Take or keep whichever of the techniques demonstrated therein that you found to be the most useful. Now, for our final segment before my afternoon snack of flapjack and waffle mix, I wish to cover an exciting new genre in the field of live streaming technology. The visual audiobook.
Sorry, what? Hold on.
Quiet, Burlington, you might learn something. For this exercise, I will turn to our community chat to see which of my proposed tomes the majority of you voted for. I see we have landed on the upcoming Stephen King J.K. Rowling joint venture, Dolores Umbridge Claiborne, of which I have managed to procure a first draft here. Very well. Settle yourselves in, friends, as E.P. Ollie K. Wah, 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 prepares to read for you.
Wait, are you just going to read?
Oh, yes.
You're just going to read the...
Shh!
Ah!
I'm trying to read. Yeah. Oh, King, you rascal. Yeah.
Yep, he's just gonna
Indeed.
read to himself on camera.
On point.
And yet somehow he just shot up 100,000 likes!
I did. Cracker Barrel gift shop, here I come.
Alright, I can't take any more of this. Where's the off switch?
No, Burlington. Think of what we could do. Why, with your viewership and my everything else, we could...
Goodbye, Ollie.
No!
I actually feel much better now. If that's what live streaming is, I've been holding myself to entirely too high a standard. Of course. Leave it to Burlington Showtime to overthink the level of sophistication for a piece of entertainment. I could have just told you stories about my life, or waxed on about some strange thing that happened to me today, or politics. I bet people live stream about politics. Do people live stream about games? I bet they do. That seems like the sort of thing that the internet would love. Well, let it not be said that Burlington Showtime didn't engage fully in the media in which he found himself. So, Let's see, a random story. Oh, God, when I was a young man back in Hollywood. Now, Shirlington wouldn't like me telling this story, so... Yeah, on the off chance that she's watching this, I'm not going to. Shirley, rest assured that I didn't tell the story about the meringue. That's right, everyone. That story involved meringue, and now you never get to hear it unless Shirley's not in the room. A wink. All that being said, I think it's time to do whatever's next, and thankfully, I've only got one button now, and it just says, Next! That's very comforting for someone in the entertainment business, let me tell you. When it's just a cue, and all you have to do is move on to whatever the next cue is, it feels comfortable, it feels welcome, it feels good. I hope it feels good. Enjoy whatever's next.
Hello, quarantined comrades. This is Miss Intern, coming to you, not live, but alive, from my survivalist bunker. Welcome to my positive reinforcement podcast, Bunker Buddies. When it comes to positive reinforcement, I don't have much to say. However, something hit me, not literally, the other night. A silver lining for people like me that keep a 6 feet safety bubble from others is a life choice. My lifestyle has gone mainstream. I'm ahead of the curve and normal. And that's inspiring. For example, buying groceries while wearing rubber gloves, only communicating through video games and social media, getting to daily... Lounge in the nude and or live in my PJs, no crimping or showers for more than a few days. Binge on Netflix and food Uber Eats brings. These are now socially acceptable things. Obsessively sanitize objects on task. For God's sake, please wash your hands. I shouldn't have to ask. With soap and warm water, COVID will not cling. These are now socially acceptable things. To torpid relations, I say good riddance. Not getting married and not having children. Don't need an excuse to recluse. I could sing. These are now socially acceptable things. Home gym setups, social distancing, all the recent fads. As someone with high social anxiety, none of this feels so bad. Ugh. Except when I remember it's because of a global pandemic. Breathe. Mask, gloves, hazmat suits, now couture resplendent. Folks get too close, just spray with disinfectant. Pumping Purell, huff that safe smell, it zings. These are now socially acceptable things. Hoarding TP in the bowels of my bunker. Eat food straight from cans to satiate hunger. Bolting up windows, forget that it's spring. These are now socially acceptable things. Serious apocalyptical plotting, mapped out escape routes and other such jottings. Parts of my zombie plan I could still swing. These are now socially acceptable things. Home gym setups, social distancing, all the recent fads. As someone with high social anxiety, none of this feels so bad. Oh boy. Well, that's about as much inspired, positive reinforcement I can give to some of you. For the rest of you, welcome to my hell. Happy hoarding.
Yep. All right. So, that's what the show's going to be. It's going very well, I think. This is what live streaming apparently is. So, everyone, let's see. Live. I'm live. Look at me. I'm alive. I've just finished putting Purell on my hands again for the 50th time today, and I hope everyone else is keeping their hands clean, because God knows that's what we're all doing right now, right? It counts as a hobby at this point, I'm pretty sure, and one that everyone agrees is a good idea. So, we're going to find out how deep this rabbit hole goes. There's just the next button, so let's see what that does, huh? Next.
Ah, Master Showtime. You've caught me re-alphabetizing my collection of Shakespearean/fic. I'm afraid I've quite given up on technology, old boy, ever since my grandniece's Palm Pilot converted my calendar to the Cupertino time zone, whatever that is. Nowadays, I just click what the computer tells me to click, allowing myself to be guided by the waves of fate, like Pericles upon the seas. Not during the storm, of course. Perhaps more like Prospero, or Viola, or... Come to think of it, the Bard of Avon does seem to have a rather pessimistic view of maritime travel. Perhaps I'll co-author a research paper on that, by which I mean I'll get a grad student to write it and then slap my name on it. A tenured professor's name is a valuable thing, Burlington, and the current market is more sellers-dominated than a production of King Lear in the back of an El Camino. Ah, but I can tell by your awed silence that you wish to hear more about my current endeavors. Yes, from Achilles/Ajax all the way to the Weird Sisters/Yorick, my personal favorite, there is a grand history of sexualized fan fiction based on Shakespeare's works, whose length is matched only by its girth. Oh, certainly, the high volume of publications is comprised by more than its fair share of such tame concepts as Hamlet/Horatio, Viola/Olivia, and even that most pedestrian of entries, Romeo/Juliet. Or as I like to call it, why bother? But far be it from me to gatekeep like a drunken porter commenting on the size of a giant door as though practicing his tight five for the Chuckle Hut. If your stunted imagination extends no farther than the Macbeth's fumbling attempts at introductory BDSM, well, there's a reason vanilla ice cream still sells, I suppose. But for we more discerning connoisseurs, there is a universe of possibilities to be found between the simultaneously domineering and deferential Adriana from Comedy of Errors and the straight-laced, ready-to-explode into a sexual dynamo Cardinal Wolsey of Henry VIII. I ask you, have you ever imagined a world where Marcus Brutus, pondering in his tent, turns to find not the vengeful finger of great Caesar's ghost, but rather the confident tread of Sir John Falstaff, a bowl of strawberries and cream in one hand, a well-trained mongoose in the other, and a crown topped with a huge rack of antlers whose tines spell out the phrase, Stag Daddy. Lend me your ears, indeed. Now, I grant you, the subgenre does have its skeptics, its wet blankets and naysayers. Why, I still remember back in 1989 when Sir Derrick Gaetke barged into the Blackfriars, drunkenly demanding that Edward de Vere's poem, Even as the Wax Doth Melt, begin and end each performance of Troilus and Cressida and Antony and Cleopatra and Spike. Those damned anti-Stratfordians always had an unwelcome flair for the dramatic, and their safe words were always 7 syllables long. Let's just say the phrase trochaic tongue twister has just as many unpleasant connotations as pleasant. But by and large, it is a warm and welcoming community, happy to offer blind praise or constructive criticism as you like it. I still remember when I first touched pen to ink, writing my own version of Love's Labour's Lost, ending not with tragedy and separation, but with the miraculous appearance of Hecate the Witch Queen, who teaches the 8 lovers an elaborate and intricately described romantic maneuver which I, still burdened with creative naivety, named the Scottish Octopus. I was young, and what my verse lacked in experience, it also lacked in adverbs. Yet, rather than belittle the efforts of a young artist like me, Dame Judi Dench herself paused, rubbed her jaw, and asked, "What if you add a bit in with a donkey?" Speaking of donkeys, I need hardly tell you of the seemingly endless variations of A Midsummer Night's Dream, wherein Bottom the Weaver finds his muleless transformation far more palatable and far more all-inclusive, much to Titania's delight, and where Act 3, Scene 2 ends much more dynamically than with Puck merely putting the mud-stained lovers to sleep. Nor, for that matter, is he usually named Puck, but I'll not abuse your ears with such adolescent inventions. There's no accounting for taste, yet still, my love and understanding of the bard is deep, but Oberon/Sycorax/Dick the Butcher taxed even my interpretive prowess. Ah! I've found it at last! My original first folio edition of Antonio/Antonio/Antonio/Antonio/Antonio. A tale of treachery, servitude, seafaring, and an old man yelling at a 20-year-old for 5 minutes. Truly an original work. Here it was the whole time, right next to Balthazar/Balthazar/Balthazar/Balthazar/Portia. A pound of flesh. Thank you for listening, Burlington, but I really must return to my work. Tomorrow I'm filming an online lecture about the inherent eroticism of yellow stockings. My TA assures me it will be quite zooming, whatever that means. I keep telling her poisoned flattery will get her nowhere in this business, yet she seems married to the descriptor. Ah well, good night, Burlington.
Maybe it's weird, but that helped. I feel rejuvenated. I'm an actor, after all, and if there's one thing that we learn from the bard, it's that everyone must go into their scene, their moment, their lives, with intention, motivation. What moves the character must move the actor to move the audience. And I, in this moment, I am moved to sleep. Not like a death sleep, not Hamlet sleep, mind you. This is like, it's late and I'm old kind of sleep. And I've got just the thing. My other motivation. Ha! That was my sub-motivation. My main motivation this whole time has been to show you a good time, to give you a good show. And I know one way to give you a good time in a variety show, and that's music. And I've got just the music to feed our minds. Play on!
Thank you, Mr. Showtime. Well, as we all know, it's a stressful time, and technology certainly doesn't help with that, especially when it's not working, which for me is all of the time. But there are a few things you can do to reduce stress, so here's a little song I wrote about a method I like to use.
blinds are tarnished and my bed is newly made. I pack my lunch and brush my teeth and rinse and floss. I put my night guard in and think of the time I've lost. The raging seas of 9 to 5 have stood and blocked my way as I await a glorious new day. So I must sleep well tonight. I'm crashing on the early side. 8 or 9 hours of rest should be just right. I cannot fight my fatigue. I'm not in my 20s, but I will rebel now and then by staying up till 10. I must be agile and alert to seize the day. To win the battle, I must promptly hit the hay. This life's a mountain full of dragons I must fly. So just for safety, I'm extending my bedtime. And like a phoenix from the ashes, I will rise. I'm really only dead on the inside. I'll spend tonight counting sheep until I finally fall asleep. I shall not crack because I'm jumping in the sack. I'm catching buttloads of seeds by crashing super early. Through the flames of hell I will fly right after sun shut eye.
See? We gave you some good entertainment, you got some music, and if this were a normal show, this is right where we'd want to be to end the whole thing. So, in summation, thank you for being my audience. Here in my study, I had no idea that I was about to be joined by my friends, my listeners, my audience. The greatest gift an actor, a movie star, a person could ever hope for. Thank you for joining me here. I hope you enjoyed whatever this was. I will be honest, I had no idea what was going on for most of it, but it seems like it was fun. And there was music, you got some stories, you got to learn a little bit about hygiene and strange bunker living. All told, I think this was a fun time. So friends, follow us here at Starlight Radio Dreams. Find us wherever we are on the internets. Watch if we do another one of these things on purpose, probably. And be good to each other out there. Wash your hands. Keep laughing. And keep dreaming. Thank you all very much for joining us here at Starlight Radio Dreams. Tonight's show, The Show Must Go On, featuring the vocal talents of Ansel Burch as Burlington Showtime, Karolyn Blake as Shirlington Showtime, Ben McCauley as Danny Burns, Rachel Granda-Gluski as Molly O'Hara, Michael Jachowicz as Jack Kane, Sam Locke as Eugene Boozler, Kat Evans as Beulah Boozler and Missy O'Danaher, Derrick Gaetke as Oliver Kane, Ellen DeSitter as Miss Intern, Jared McDaris as Professor Zunderfell, Jake Dewar as Mr. Studebaker, Arne Parrot as Professor Pianist. We'd like to issue a special thank you to our friends at Mrs. Murphy & Sons Irish Bistro, still doing deliveries, even during the shutdowns, and delivering whiskey. We'd also like to thank our dear friends at Shure Incorporated for their generous support. Without you guys, we couldn't do it. Thank you all for joining us once again. Now get out there, keep laughing, and keep dreaming.